What happens when you merge the mind of a human pilot with a towering war machine? The result is chaos and destruction. The princeps who command these titans wrestle with the machine's consciousness through neural interfaces to maintain control over these metal gods. Picture Imperial war engines as walking cathedrals and chaos variants breathing with unholy life. Today, we'll explore Titan classes across every faction, Imperial, Chaos, and more. Discover how even the smallest Titans can demolish tank battalions, while the largest reshape battlefields with their mere presence. Stay tuned for a deep dive into these colossal forces. Imperial Titans, humanity's walking cathedrals. The Adeptus Mechanicus doesn't just maintain Titans, they revere them as divine machines. These colossal war machines receive daily rituals that blend technology and faith, symbolizing their sacred status in the Imperium. Titans are not merely weapons. They are walking cathedrals brimming with enough firepower to obliterate entire cities. Warhound Scout Titan. Standing at about 15 meters tall, the Warhound Scout Titan is the smallest of the Imperial Titans. Despite its Scout designation, it is a formidable force on the battlefield. Equipped with Vulcan megabolters that unleash 300 armor-piercing rounds per second, Warhounds can easily dismantle enemy tanks. They operate in packs known as maniples, using their speed to outmaneuver and flank larger Titans. Their plasma blast guns are capable of melting through void shields when they close in on their targets. The Warhound's role is to disrupt enemy lines and provide reconnaissance, making it an essential asset in any Titan Legion. Reaver Battle Titan. Next in the line is a Reaver Battle Titan, a middleweight contender at around 25 meters tall. Reavers are armed with heavier weapons than Warhounds, yet they retain enough agility to avoid becoming easy targets. Their carapace mounts can be outfitted with missile launchers, laser blasters, or Gatling cannons, depending on the mission requirements. However, their legs are vulnerable in urban environments, where enemies can launch surprise attacks from alleys and ruins. The Reaver's battlefield role is to provide versatile firepower and support, bridging the gap between a nimble Warhound and the massive Warlord. Warlord Titan. The Warlord Titan is where the stakes escalate dramatically. These 33-meter-tall behemoths are walking fortresses, equipped with 6 layered void shields and an arsenal capable of decimating entire regiments. A single warlord can wield volcano cannons and pierce mountains. A single warlord can wield volcano cannons that pierce mountains, quake cannons that flatten city blocks, and missile racks that darken the skies. Crewed by multiple tech priests who chant binary hymns to appease the machine spirit, the Warlord's role is to dominate the battlefield with overwhelming firepower and resilience. Imperator-class Titan. At the pinnacle of Titan hierarchy is the Imperator-class Titan. These colossal machines are so immense that cathedrals are literally constructed on their shoulders. Imperators take centuries to build and serve as mobile command bases, complete with barracks for infantry support. Most Imperial citizens will never witness an Imperator in their lifetime. When one appears, it signifies either salvation or annihilation for the planet. The Imperator's role is to serve as the ultimate symbol of Imperial might, commanding entire battalions with its presence. The Collegia Titanica oversees all Titan legions, making it one of the most influential factions in the Imperium. Each legion has its own unique traditions and specialties. For instance, the Firewasps excel in siege warfare, while the Deathbolts are deployed exclusively for extermination campaigns. Titan crews undergo years of rigorous neural conditioning to withstand the machine spirit's fury without succumbing to madness. To illustrate the might of these Titans, consider the Battle of Griffon 4. Consider the Battle of Griffon 4. During this conflict, a Warhound pack flanked an Orc Gargant, using their speed to outmaneuver the lumbering behemoth. Meanwhile, a Reaver provided covering fire, its laser blasters cutting through the orc horde. As the battle intensified, a warlord titan arrived, its quake cannon obliterating the orc war machines. Finally, an imperator-class titan emerged, its presence alone enough to turn the tide. The orcs, faced with the full might of the Titan legions, were utterly crushed, and Griffon 4 was saved from destruction. In summary, each class of Titan plays a crucial role in the Imperium's military strategy. From the nimble warhound to the awe-inspiring Imperator, these machines are not only instruments of war, but also symbols of the Emperor's divine power. The Titan legions stand as a testament to the Imperium's unyielding resolve, ready to face any threat that dares to challenge their dominion. Chaos Titans, Demon-Infested war machines. The Imperium's Titans are terrifying enough, until you see what happens when Chaos gets its hands on them. These corrupted war machines are not merely upgraded with spikes and extra guns. They become grotesque parodies of their former selves. Some Titans seem to be alive, their hulls pulsating with sinister energy, while others emit unholy screams, defying their pilots' control. Chaos Titans begin as Imperial designs, but the Dark Mechanicus transforms them into twisted art. Exposed cabling drips with warp-tainted oil, and armor plates meld into jagged organic shapes. Weapons sprout in unexpected places. A Chaos Warlord might have a cannon protruding from its mouth, or a tail tipped with a flamer. The Legio Mortis set the standard during the Horus Heresy, turning their Titans into brutal monuments. They adorn their machines with severed heads and crucified enemies on their hulls, marching relentlessly from battle to battle. Their princeps didn't just record kill counts, they had servitors chant the names of the dead as the Titans fought, creating a chilling symphony of destruction. Possession is a true horror. Some Chaos Titans merge with warp entities, blurring the line between machine and demon. The pilot might still be present, but the Titan's machine spirit is no longer the only voice in their head. Fleshy growths pulse across the hull, veins throb under metal skin, and mouths split open to scream heresies mid-battle. Khorne's Banelord Titans take it further. Their tails end in cannons, their fists crack with energy, and they don't stop until everything in front of them is obliterated. Transitioning to another terrifying design, the Warlord Sinister Side Titan is a weapon so classified that even most Chaos Lords are unaware of its workings. It channels alpha-grade psychers through the Sinistraminus Tenebrae, a gun that erases enemies. Firing it creates a black sphere that sucks everything into the warp, leaving a crater where the battalion once stood. The Titan's crew includes bound psychers who don't survive the process. Their minds burned out to fuel another shot. Chaos Reavers, known as Ravagers after corruption, are faster but equally deranged. Their weapons mutate unpredictably. A plasma blast gun might start spewing toxic sludge, or a missile launcher could burst screaming demon projectiles mid-flight. Some develop insectile legs, scuttling over terrain no Imperial Titan could navigate. Others sprout claws and charge like beasts, ignoring damage that would cripple a clean machine. The impact of the Horus Heresy on the roster of Titans was profound. It was during this time that the Legio Mortis and others embraced the dark path, forever altering the nature of their war machines. The heresy marked a turning point where Titans became not just tools of war, but symbols of Chaos's corrupting influence. The once proud engines of the Imperium were transformed into nightmarish creations, each one a testament to the horrors of the warp. In summary, Chaos Titans are a terrifying blend of machine and demon. Their grotesque modifications, a twisted reflection of the Dark Mechanicus' creativity. From the brutal monuments of the Legio Mortis to the unpredictable mutations of the Ravagers, each Titan tells a story of corruption and chaos. The Horus Heresy was a catalyst, setting the stage for the transformation of these mighty war machines into the nightmarish entities they are today. As they march into battle, they are not just engines of destruction, but harbingers of the dark powers that now control them. Eldar Titans, Psychic War Dancers. Imperial Titans are all about brute force, while Eldar Titans embody elegance and precision. The Aldari crafted their war machines to move with the grace of a duelist, scaled up to Titan size. Their secret lies in wraithbone construction and pilots who share a psychic bond with the machine's spirit. Eldar Titans come in 3 classes, each deadlier than the last. The Revenant Scout Titan is the smallest, but don't mistake that for weak. These things are faster than Imperial Warhounds and pack weapons that hit harder. A Revenant's pulsar fires concentrated energy beams capable of slicing through tank columns, while its sonic lance vibrates targets apart at the molecular level. They always deploy in pairs because Eldar tactics rely on precision teamwork. The pilots are usually twins who've trained together since birth. Their minds linked so tightly they can anticipate each other's moves before they happen. Step up to the Phantom Battle Titan, and you're looking at the Eldar equivalent of a warlord, except this thing can sidestep artillery barrages. Phantoms carry heat lances that melt through armor like a hot knife through butter, and their D-cannons rip holes in reality itself. But the real nightmare is their speed. Imperial crews report Phantoms dodging volleys of missiles while returning fire with pinpoint accuracy. It's like fighting a ghost that shoots back. Then there's the Warlock Titan, the heavy support variant. These things are walking psychic amplifiers, channeling the power of multiple seers into battle-wide effects. A Warlock can project force fields to shield allies, disrupt enemy communications with mind static, or unleash warp storms that liquefy infantry. Their weapons include wraith cannons that disintegrate targets and power glaives for when they need to get up close. The pilots are bonded to the Titan spirit. Eldar twins or triplets undergo years of training to sync their minds with the machine, forming a connection so deep they can feel its heartbeat. This psychic link lets them react faster than any neural interface could, making the Titan move like an extension of their own bodies. Imagine a pilot in the heat of battle sensing an incoming missile and instinctively weaving the Titan through the barrage with a dancer's grace. Some Imperial survivors claim Eldar Titans seem to predict attacks before they happen, weaving through fire with unnatural foresight. Wraithbone construction plays a huge role in their agility. Unlike clunky Imperial plating, Wraithbone is lightweight, self-repairing, and responds to psychic energy. Picture it as a living, glowing substance, almost like a luminous, flexible bone that pulses with life. A Phantom Titan can pivot on one foot to avoid a quake cannon shot, then counterattack before the enemy reloads. Their limbs flex with organic fluidity, allowing maneuvers that would snap a Reaver's joints. Their weapons reflect the same philosophy. Eldar don't rely on brute force, they use precision. A pulsar slices, a sonic lance unravels. Even their missile launchers fire smart munitions that curve around cover. The only exception is a D-cannon, which deletes whatever it hits from existence. The Eldar's design philosophy is evident in every aspect of their Titans. While Imperial machines lumber forward, relying on sheer power, Eldar Titans dance across the battlefield, executing maneuvers with a fluidity that seems almost otherworldly. Their movements are rapid, almost ballet-like, a testament to the synergy between pilot and machine. This elegance is not just for show, it's a deadly advantage. The Revenant's speed and agility allow it to outmaneuver larger foes, striking with precision and retreating before the enemy can react. The Phantom's ability to dodge and weave through enemy fire makes it a ghostly adversary, while the Warlock's psychic prowess turns a tide of battle with a mere thought. The psychic bond between pilot and Titan is more than just a connection, it's a partnership. In the chaos of war, a pilot might sense the Titan spirit urging them to dodge left, just in time to avoid a devastating blow. This bond is forged through years of training, creating a unity that allows the Titan to move as if it were an extension of the pilot's own body. It's this connection that gives Eldar Titans their edge, allowing them to anticipate and counter threats with uncanny precision. In the end, the Eldar Titans are a testament to the Aldari's mastery of technology and psychic power. Their elegance and precision stand in stark contrast to the brute force of their Imperial counterparts. With wraithbone construction and a psychic bond that defies explanation, these Titans are not just machines of war. They are the embodiment of the Eldar's art of war, a dance of death that leaves their enemies in awe. Orc Gargants, scrap metal monstrosities. Orc Gargants shouldn't work. They're held together by rust, prayers to Gork and Mork, and whatever the mechs could weld together before lunch. Yet, these scrap metal monstrosities stomp on the battlefields and start wrecking everything in sight. Orc technology runs on two things: belief and firepower. If enough greenskins think something should work, the universe eventually shrugs and lets it happen. A Gargant begins with a big mech's vision, often after headbutting something or drinking questionable fungus beer. The design is whatever the orcs can scavenge: tank treads for feet, ship hulls for armor, and enough guns to make a Titan Legion nervous. Some Gargants have wooden panels bolted to their frames because the mechs run out of metal. Others have entire battle fortresses strapped to their backs like oversized backpacks. The average Gargant looks like a junkyard threw up on a cathedral. Then, someone glued weapons to every flat surface. The weapons are where orc creativity shines. A Gargant might have a belly-mounted gutbuster mega cannon that fires shells the size of trucks, or a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher that shoots live squigs because someone thought it'd be funny. Some have power claws big enough to crush a Lehman Russ tank like a beer can. Others just swing giant metal clubs because sometimes the simplest solution is to hit things really hard. There's no standardization. Each Gargant is a unique disaster waiting to happen. Imagine a chaotic fireworks display where the randomness of their attacks adds to the spectacle. Crewing one of these things is its own kind of madness. A captain shouts orders through speaking tubes while Gretchen mechanics run around hitting pipes with wrenches. The engine room is usually on fire, but that's fine because orcs think smoke means it's working extra hard. Gunners operate weapons with no safety protocols, which explains why some Gargants accidentally shoot their own legs off. Repair crews stuff leaks with rags and hope for the best. It's a chaotic dance of survival where the crew's antics are as unpredictable as a Gargant's weaponry. The orc psychic field is the only reason these walking scrap piles function. When enough greenskins believe their Gargant is unstoppable, it becomes harder to kill. Bullets might ricochet off armor that shouldn't stop blaze fire. Jamming weapons suddenly work again because the crew got angry. One famous Gargant kept fighting after losing its head because the orcs inside refused to accept it was dead. The universe eventually gave up arguing and let them have it. Gargants are also mobile shrines to Gork and Mork. Many have giant effigies of the orc gods bolted to their hulls, often with glowing eyes or smoke pouring from their mouths. Some mechs build Gargants with faces that resemble their favorite deity, either brutal but cunning, Gork, or cunning but brutal, Mork. Before battle, the crew might paint fresh glyphs on the hull or sacrifice a grot to ensure good luck. Then there's the Great Gargants, the biggest and dumbest of them all. These things are so massive, they make Imperial Titans look like action figures. A Great Gargant might have a fortress on its back, complete with landing pads for fighter jets and a mob of boys waiting to jump into battle. Their weapons include Super Gatlas that fire shells as fast as a storm boy can yell "Wah!" and Mega Zappas that occasionally explode when fired. These behemoths are a testament to orc excess, embodying the chaotic spirit of their creators. Fighting a Gargant is like fighting a natural disaster. They don't aim carefully. They just point in the general direction of the enemy and let loose. Their shots land wherever the gods of randomness decide, which means sometimes they miss entirely and sometimes they get freakishly lucky. One recorded incident involved a Gargant firing its mega cannon at a distant city, only to hit a flying thunderhawk no one had even seen. The orcs took this as a sign of Mork's favor and celebrated by headbutting each other. The only thing more dangerous than a Gargant is a Gargant that's about to explode. When one of these things goes critical, it takes half the battlefield with it. The explosion can level everything in a kilometer radius, leaving behind a crater and a lot of confused survivors. Orcs consider this a fitting end and will often try to steer a dying Gargant into the enemy lines for maximum carnage. Tyranid Biotitans, living weapons. The Tyranids don't build titans, they grow them. Biotitans are living war engines, each one a nightmare of chitin, muscle, and constantly evolving weaponry. While other factions rely on metal and machinery, the hive mind creates monsters that heal from wounds, adapt to threats, and keep fighting long after a mechanical titan would have shut down. When a biotitan hits the battlefield, it's a sign the planet is already dead. The Tyranids only deploy these things when they're ready to finish the job. Hierophants are the most common biotitans, and they're bad news for anyone standing in their way. These things look like giant, armored spiders with scything talons longer than a battle tank. Their carapace is thick enough to shrug off artillery hits, and their limbs can punch through building walls like they're made of paper. A Hierophant doesn't just walk, it scuttles, moving with unsettling speed for something so massive. Imperial crews report seeing them climb over terrain that would stop a Reaver Titan, using their hooked legs to pull themselves up cliffs or across ruined cities. Their weapons are just as horrifying as their appearance. Biocannons fire streams of acid or hypervelocity bone shards that eat through armor plating. Some Hierophants have venom sacs that let them spit globs of corrosive poison at distant targets. Others grow whip-like tendrils lined with teeth, which they use to grab enemies and crush them mid-battle. The worst part? They don't run out of ammo. A Biotitan's weapons regenerate as fast as they're used, meaning they can keep firing until the target stops moving. Then there's the close combat specialists. Some Biotitans forgo ranged weapons entirely, instead growing massive claws or crushing limbs designed to rip apart enemy titans in melee. These variants are faster than they look, able to duck under cannon fire and close the distance before the enemy can reload. Once they're in range, they go to work with talons that can pry open a warlord's armor plating like a can opener. There are reports of Biotitans tearing the heads off Imperial Titans, then using the wreckage as clubs. What makes Biotitans truly terrifying is their ability to adapt. Like nature's relentless march. A Hierophant that takes too much damage from plasma weapons might start growing heat-resistant carapace during the battle. One that gets flanked by fast attackers could sprout extra eyes or develop spiked limbs to deter melee assaults. The hive mind learns from every engagement, and the next wave of Biotitans will be even more specialized to counter whatever tactics worked last time. This is battlefield engineering in real time. The regeneration is another problem. A mechanical titan that loses an arm is out of commission until the Adeptus Mechanicus can haul it back for repairs. A Biotitan just grows a new one. Even major wounds close up within hours, and some observers swear they've seen Biotitans reattach severed limbs mid-fight. The only way to be sure one is dead is to reduce it to paste, and even then, the biomass usually gets reabsorbed by the hive fleet for the next generation. Biotitans don't operate alone. They're always surrounded by swarms of lesser Tyranids, which act as living shields and distractions. Try focusing on a Hierophant while 100 Hormagaunts are climbing your Titan's legs and you'll see the problem. The smaller creatures also feed the Biotitan, bringing it biomass to fuel its regeneration. Some even fuse with the larger creature during battle, becoming temporary armor patches or extra weapon pods. The hive mind's control over Biotitans is absolute. There is no machine spirit to wrestle with, No pilot to target, just a single, relentless will driving the creature forward. Biotitans don't feel fear or hesitation. They don't retreat unless the hive mind decides it's necessary. They'll fight until they're torn apart, and even then, their remains might twitch as a hive mind tries to repurpose the biomass. Some biotitans are even more specialized. The Heridan, a flying variant, a winged monstrosity that strays battlefield with bioplasma and drops swarms of gargoyles onto enemy positions. The Dominatrix is a command organism, directing lesser biotitans while projecting psychic interference to disrupt enemy communications. Then, there are the truly massive ones, like the unnamed biotitans spotted during the fall of Tyranid. Creatures so large they made Imperator-class titans look small. Fighting a biotitan requires different tactics than fighting a mechanical titan. Blowing off limbs doesn't always work. Targeting weak points is harder when the weak points keep moving or healing. The best strategy is overwhelming firepower. Hit it with everything at once before it can adapt. Even that's no guarantee though. Some biotitans have been known to play dead, only to reactivate when enemies get close. Legendary Titans and Battles. Some Titans become legends for their unique legacies and the stories behind them. The Castigator, an autonomous AI Titan, was so massive it dwarfed Imperators. Created during the Dark Age of technology, it viewed all later Titan designs as cheap imitations. Its synthetic muscles gave it agility, and it could repair itself mid-battle. The arm-mounted cannon fired demons as ammunition after the Titan's AI made deals with Chaos. The Grey Knights eventually destroyed it, proving why autonomous war machines were banned. The Horus Heresy nearly destroyed Titan warfare when half the legions turned traitor. Loyalist and traitor Titans, once allies, suddenly aimed at familiar heraldry. The schism shattered the Collegia Titanica's unity, with some legions fracturing mid-battle. The Deathbolts famously scuttled their own Titans rather than let them fall to Horus's forces, while the Fire Wasps burned their former allies. This left Titan legions paranoid about loyalty, leading to immediate purges at any sign of machine spirit rebellion. The Warbringer Nemesis, the Titan equivalent of a sniper rifle, specializes in extreme range destruction. Sitting between Reavers and Warlords in size, their Quake cannons can level fortresses with single shots. Their machine spirits have an eerie knack for locking onto targets before the crew spots them. Warbringers often deploy with spotter titans that paint targets for them, ensuring their massive shells count. Some crews claim their Warbringers growl when they acquire targets. Whether that's machine spirit personality or just creaking metal is up for debate. The Direwolf Heavy Scout Titan was an audacious experiment that never caught on. Someone looked at its standard Scout Titans and said, "Needs more guns," resulting in a Warhound-sized chassis with pintle-mounted megabolters for night hunting. The idea was to create a Titan that could outmaneuver larger enemies while packing enough firepower to cripple them. In practice, the added weight slowed them down, and most ended up as garrison units. A few saw action against Orc Gargants, where their specialized loadouts made sense. Legends aren't always about size or firepower. Sometimes it's about endurance. The Imperator-class Dominatus Victor fought for 3 weeks straight during the Siege of Rax, its void shielding falling on day 5, but its crew refused to retreat. They ran out of main gun ammunition by week 2 and started using the Titan's fists. When enemy Titans finally brought it down, the wreckage took out 3 more Chaos war engines. The Collegia Titanica later recovered the machine spirit core and installed it in a new chassis, claiming the Titan had earned a second life. Chaos has its share of legendary Titans too. The warlord Bloodborne earned its name after its demon possession manifested gruesomely. The Titan grew veins across its hull that pumped blood to its weapons. Its plasma cannons fired clots of congealed gore that burned through armor, and its warhorn sounded like a dying man's scream. The Bloodborne met its end when an Imperial Knight Lance rammed a Melta-charge down its barrel during reload, causing the corrupted plasma core to detonate. The Eldar keep their Titan legends quieter, but the Phantom Dancing Doom earned respect even from Mon-K forces. This Titan survived 7 engagements with Imperial warlords by doing the unexpected, dodging. Its twin pilots perfected a fighting style that looked more like a ballet than combat, weaving between shots while landing precise strikes to weak points. The Dancing Doom fell not to enemy fire, but to a seismic charge that collapsed the ground beneath it mid-step. Rumor has it its spirit stone was recovered, meaning those pilots might still be out there waiting for a new chassis. Orc Gargants become legends through sheer absurdity. The Great Gargant Headbanger earned its name by headbutting an Imperial warlord to death after losing its arms. The crew kept the warlord's head as a trophy, welding it to their Gargant shoulder. Another famous Gargant, Da Blakan, became invisible through the collective belief of its crew, or maybe just because it was covered in so much smoke no one could see it clearly. It allegedly snuck up on an entire armored column before they realized the burning refinery behind them was actually moving. Tyranid biotitans don't have names, but certain patterns become infamous. One particular hierophant adapted so thoroughly during a battle that by the end, its carapace had become resistant to every weapon the defenders had. They only killed it by luring it into a promethium refinery and detonating the entire complex. Another biotitan grew so large during the fall of Tyranid that witnesses claimed it stood taller than the Hive City's central spire. It took 3 full legios focusing fire for an hour to finally bring it down, and even then, the biomass slithered away before they could incinerate it. Titans showcase each faction's unique approach. The Imperium turns war into religion, the Eldar make it an art, and the Orcs throw a violent party. Chaos Titans highlight the chaos of corruption, while Tyranid Biotitans are simply ravenous. If you had to pilot one, which would you choose? A nimble Warhound, a screaming Chaos Titan, or an Orc Gargant with a decorative steering wheel? Share your battle stories or favorite Titan moments in the comments. Remember, bigger Titans mean more machine spirit headaches. Enjoyed this Titan tour? Hit like, subscribe, and let's keep exploring 40k's wildest lore.